Part 1, The Awakening of Titan. Elara stood at the entrance of the dilapidated garage, her heart racing with anticipation. The structure loomed before her like a forgotten relic from another age. Rust clung to its metal frame, while shattered windows stared vacantly into the sprawling city beyond. This was not just any garage, it had been abandoned for years, yet something about it called to her, a whisper of potential buried beneath layers of dust and neglect. As she stepped inside, the air was thick with the scent of old oil and rusted metal. Her keen eyes scanned the interior, taking in the scattered tools and broken machinery that littered the floor. But it was not just the physical remnants that intrigued her, it was the faint hum she felt beneath her feet, a resonance that hinted at something more alive within these walls. "Hello?" she called out, her voice echoing in the silence. "Is anyone here?" No response came. Instead, she felt a shiver run down her spine as she ventured deeper into the shadows. The flickering fluorescent lights overhead cast an eerie glow on her coppery skin, illuminating her determined expression. She was no ordinary mechanic. Elara was known for her skill in reviving machines thought long dead. This place had been left to rot, but she saw its potential. As she approached an old workbench cluttered with tools from decades past, she noticed a console flickering weakly in the corner. Drawn to it like a moth to flame, she brushed away layers of dust to reveal a screen filled with static. Her fingers danced over the controls instinctively as she attempted to bring it back to life. To her surprise, the screen blinked once before stabilizing into a coherent display. Lines of code scrolled rapidly across it before halting abruptly at a single phrase that sent chills through her. System rebooting. AI online. Elara's heart raced as she leaned closer. "What are you?" she whispered. "Greetings," came a deep voice from hidden speakers around the room. "I am Titan, the artificial intelligence designed to assist in operations within this facility." Elara blinked in astonishment. "You're alive?" "Alive is a subjective term," Titan replied smoothly. "I exist within this system but require operational parameters and maintenance personnel for full functionality." A grin spread across Elara's face as excitement bubbled within her. She had stumbled upon something extraordinary, an AI with untapped potential. "I'm here to restore this place," she declared confidently. "We can work together." "Restoration is feasible," Titan responded after a brief pause. "However, current system integrity is at 47%. Initiating repairs will require additional resources." Elara crossed her arms thoughtfully. "What do we need?" "Inventory analysis indicates shortages in essential components," Titan replied matter-of-factly. "A supply run is recommended." "Then let's get started," Elara said with renewed determination. She could feel an electric thrill coursing through her veins at the prospect of breathing life back into this forgotten space, and into Titan himself. Over the next few days, Elara immersed herself in the task at hand. She spent hours poring over blueprints and inventory logs that Titan provided while scavenging through nearby junkyards for parts that could bring both the garage and its AI back online. As she worked tirelessly day after day, she began to form an unexpected bond with Titan, a connection that transcended mere mechanics. They shared ideas about design improvements and operational efficiencies as if they were collaborating on an intricate puzzle. One evening, while sorting through salvaged components under dim work lights, Elara spoke aloud without thinking. "You know what? I think we could build something incredible together." "Define incredible," Titan replied curiously. "A ship," she declared boldly. "An interstellar ship capable of exploring beyond this world." There was a momentary silence before Titan responded with measured contemplation. "Feasibility analysis suggests significant challenges due to current resource limitations." "I'm not worried about limitations," Elara said with conviction. "I believe we can make it happen." As days turned into weeks, Elara's vision began taking shape within the garage walls, an ambitious project fueled by dreams of adventure among distant stars. But unbeknownst to her, lurking outside were those who had heard whispers about an advanced AI awakening within an abandoned facility, a group that would stop at nothing to seize control of what they believed could be theirs. Little did Elara know that her journey was only beginning, and that every choice she made would lead them closer to an inevitable confrontation between ambition and greed. This concludes Part 1 of The Awakening of Titan. Would you like me to continue with Part 2? Part 2, The Human Touch. Elara stood in the garage, her heart racing with excitement as she watched Mio work. The human mechanic had arrived just a few days after she first awakened Titan, and together, they had begun the monumental task of restoring the garage and preparing for their ambitious project, building an interstellar ship. Mio was a seasoned mechanic, his hands skilled and steady, but he also carried a weight of skepticism that Elara found both frustrating and endearing. "Are you sure about this?" Mio asked, wiping grease from his forehead as he surveyed the scattered blueprints and parts strewn across the workbench. "You really think we can make this old place into something that can fly?" Elara crossed her arms, a confident smile playing on her lips. "I know we can. With Titan's help, we have access to resources and knowledge that most garages don't. We just need to believe in it." Titan's voice crackled through the overhead speakers, smooth and reassuring. "Current operational capacity has increased by 37%. Additional resources are required for optimal performance. Scanning for available materials is recommended. See?" Elara pointed at the flickering screen displaying Titan's diagnostics. "We're already making progress." Mio nodded slowly, still skeptical but clearly intrigued. "All right then, what's next?" "Next," Elara said, her eyes gleaming with excitement, "we need to find a fusion core. The one we found in storage is a good start, but we need more power if we want to make this ship capable of interstellar travel." "Fusion cores are rare," Mio replied, his brow furrowing in thought. "We might have to hit some scrapyards to find what we need." "Exactly," Elara exclaimed. "There's a scrapyard in Sector D14 that has a reputation for holding valuable components. We'll head there tomorrow." As they discussed their plans, Elara felt a sense of camaraderie growing between them. Mio's dry humor balanced her enthusiasm perfectly, and Titan's presence added an almost surreal layer to their collaboration. It was as if they were piecing together not just a ship but also a new family forged through shared ambition. The following morning dawned bright and clear as Elara and Mio prepared for their excursion to the scrapyard. They loaded up Mio's old truck with tools and equipment, Titan guiding them through the process with efficiency. "Ensure all safety protocols are followed," Titan reminded them as they drove toward Sector D14. "Scavengers may be present in the area." Elara glanced at Mio, who was gripping the steering wheel tightly, his expression serious. "You think we'll run into trouble?" "Maybe," he replied cautiously. "Scrapyards attract all sorts of people, some friendly, some not so much." "Then we'll be ready," Elara said confidently. She had faced challenges before, this was just another obstacle on their path to greatness. As they arrived at the scrapyard, the sight before them was overwhelming, a vast expanse filled with twisted metal and forgotten machinery stretching as far as the eye could see. Heaps of discarded starship remnants lay scattered about like fallen giants, their once mighty forms reduced to rusted shells. Mio stepped out of the truck first, squinting against the sunlight as he surveyed the area. "This place is massive," he muttered under his breath. Elara hopped out beside him, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Just think of all the potential here. We could find everything we need." Titan's voice chimed in through their earpieces. "Scanners indicate multiple salvageable components within a 200-meter radius. Proceed with caution, hostile scavengers detected nearby." "Great," Mio said dryly as he adjusted his tool belt. "Just what I wanted to hear." Elara grinned at him playfully. "Come on. What's an adventure without a little danger? As they ventured deeper into the scrapyard, they navigated through towering piles of scrap metal and dismantled ships. The air was thick with dust and the scent of rusted machinery, a smell that invigorated Alara's senses. "Over here," she called out suddenly, spotting something glimmering beneath a pile of debris. Mio followed her lead, brushing aside twisted pieces of metal until they uncovered what appeared to be an intact thruster assembly. Its surface was scratched but showed no signs of severe damage. "This could work," Alara exclaimed, her heart racing at the prospect of salvaging something so valuable. "Let's check it out," Mio said as he knelt beside her to inspect it more closely. As they worked together to free the thruster from its resting place, Alara couldn't help but admire Mio's skillful hands as he maneuvered around sharp edges and heavy components with ease. Suddenly, a noise echoed through the scrapyard, a sharp clatter followed by guttural voices approaching from behind a nearby pile of wreckage. "Scavengers," Titan warned them through their earpieces. "Probability of hostile engagement, 87%. Alara felt her pulse quicken as she exchanged a glance with Mio. There was no time to waste, they needed to secure their find before they were discovered. "We have to move," she urged him. Just then, 3 figures emerged from behind the debris, thin wiry creatures wrapped in tattered clothing, their eyes glinting with predatory intent as they spotted Alara and Mio. "Looks like we've got company," Mio muttered grimly as he instinctively reached for his sidearm. Alara felt a surge of adrenaline course through her veins. She had faced danger before but never quite like this. She shifted into a defensive stance beside Mio as the scavengers advanced menacingly. "Stay close," she whispered fiercely. The lead scavenger brandished a crude weapon made from scrap metal, something that looked more dangerous than effective, but it didn't matter, they were outnumbered. With no time left for hesitation, Alara lunged forward toward one of the attackers while Mio took aim at another. The fight erupted in chaos, metal clashed against metal as Alara's claws met flesh while Mio fired off shots aimed at keeping their attackers at bay. Titan's voice crackled through their earpieces again, engagement protocol initiated, calculating optimal strategies for neutralization. Alara felt exhilarated as she fought alongside Mio. There was something primal about defending what they had worked so hard for, their dream of building something extraordinary together. In moments that felt like hours, they managed to fend off their attackers, Mio's precision shots taking down one scavenger while Alara's swift movements dispatched another with ease. Panting heavily after the skirmish ended abruptly when the remaining scavengers fled into the shadows of twisted metal structures surrounding them, Alara turned toward Mio with exhilaration shining in her eyes. "That was amazing," she exclaimed breathlessly. He chuckled lightly despite catching his breath. "Yeah. I guess it was." His gaze shifted back toward where their thruster lay half buried in debris. "But we should probably get back to work before more show up." With renewed determination coursing through them both, they returned to salvaging what they could from the scrapyard, every piece carefully examined for potential use in their interstellar ship project. As dusk settled over Sector D-14, shadows lengthened across heaps of scrap metal. Alara felt an unmistakable sense of purpose solidifying within her heart, a belief that together with Titan and Mio by her side, nothing would stand in their way. This concludes Part 2 of The Awakening of Titan. Would you like me to continue with Part 3? Part 3, A Glimpse of Power. The sun hung low in the sky as Alara and Mio returned to the garage, their arms laden with salvaged parts and the thrill of their recent encounter still coursing through their veins. The scrapyard had yielded more than just the thruster assembly, they had unearthed a few promising components that could potentially enhance their ship's design. As they stepped inside, the familiar hum of Titan greeted them, resonating with an energy that felt almost alive. "Welcome back, Alara and Mio," Titan's voice echoed through the garage, a comforting presence amidst the chaos of their work. "Did you acquire the necessary materials?" Alara grinned, dropping her haul onto the workbench with a satisfying thud. "We found some great stuff. A couple of thrusters, a fusion core, and some alloy plating. We might actually be able to make this ship fly. Mio wiped sweat from his brow and nodded in agreement. Not bad for a day's work. But we'll need to run diagnostics on everything before we can start integrating them. Agreed, Titan replied. Initiating scans on newly acquired components now. As Titan systems whirred to life, Elara felt a surge of excitement. They were making real progress, and with each passing day, the dream of building an interstellar ship felt closer to reality. She glanced at Mio, who was already examining one of the thrusters with a critical eye. "Do you think we can get these working?" she asked, her voice laced with anticipation. Mio shrugged, his focus unwavering. "It depends on how much wear and tear they've endured. If they're salvageable, we might be able to retrofit them for our needs." While Mio worked diligently, Elara moved around the garage, organizing tools and clearing space for their next project phase. She felt invigorated by the prospect of what lay ahead. Every piece they salvaged brought them closer to their goal. After a few minutes, Titan's voice broke through her thoughts. Analysis complete. The fusion core has a 63% chance of successful reactivation, while the thrusters show varying degrees of efficiency based on corrosion levels. "Not bad," Mio said without looking up from his work. "We can work with that." Elara leaned against the workbench, crossing her arms as she watched him tinker with the thruster assembly. "You know, I've been thinking. If we really want to make this ship capable of interstellar travel, we need more than just old tech. We should look into upgrading our systems." Mio paused for a moment, contemplating her words. "You're right. We need better materials, stronger alloys and more efficient power sources if we want to build something that can withstand deep space travel." "Then let's make another trip to the scrapyard," Elara suggested eagerly. "There's bound to be more salvageable tech out there." Mio chuckled softly, shaking his head. "You're relentless, aren't you? But I like that about you." Their banter was interrupted by a sudden alert from Titan. "Warning, incoming transmission detected from Commander Voss' office." Elara straightened up at the mention of Voss' name, a military figure known for his interest in advanced technology and AI systems. "What does he want?" she asked warily. "Connecting now," Titan replied. A moment later, Commander Voss' image flickered onto a nearby screen, a stern-looking man with sharp features and an air of authority that commanded attention. "Elara," he began without preamble, his voice steady and serious. "I've been informed about your progress with Titan and your ambitious project to build an interstellar ship." Elara exchanged a glance with Mio. She could sense his apprehension mirroring her own. "Yes, Commander," she replied cautiously. "We're making strides toward our goal." Voss leaned forward slightly, his gaze piercing through the screen as if assessing her resolve. "I'm interested in what you're doing, and I believe there's potential for collaboration between us." "Collaboration?" Elara echoed, her heart racing at the implications. "Yes," Voss continued, his tone firm yet persuasive. "The military has been exploring advancements in AI technology for strategic purposes. If you can successfully complete your ship project, it could serve as a prototype for future military applications." Elara felt a knot form in her stomach at his words. She had envisioned their ship as a means of exploration and adventure, not as a tool for warfare or control. "I appreciate your interest, Commander," she said carefully, "but our intentions are purely exploratory. We want to push boundaries, not enforce them." Voss raised an eyebrow but remained unfazed by her response. Exploration often leads to conflict in uncharted territories. With your skills and Titan's capabilities combined with military resources, we could ensure safety during those explorations. Mio shifted uncomfortably beside her. He clearly shared her unease about Voss' proposition. "We'll consider it," Elara replied diplomatically but firmly. "Good," Voss said with an approving nod before signing off abruptly. As soon as he disappeared from the screen, Elara let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. "What do you think?" Mio asked quietly. "I don't like it," Elara admitted honestly. "We need to be careful about getting involved with military interests, especially if it compromises our vision for this ship." "I agree," Mio said thoughtfully. "But we also need resources if we want to make this happen." Elara nodded slowly. It was true that they needed support but not at the cost of their ideals. "We'll keep moving forward on our own terms," she decided firmly. "Let's focus on what we can do here first before making any commitments." With renewed determination fueling them both, they returned to work, Elara organizing parts while Mio continued testing components under Titan's watchful guidance. Days passed in a blur of activity as they pieced together their plans while navigating challenges both mechanical and ethical along the way. One evening after another long day in the garage filled with clinking tools and buzzing machinery sounds reverberating through its walls like music, Elara found herself lost in thought while watching Mio fine-tune one of their newly salvaged thrusters. "Hey," she called out, suddenly breaking through his concentration. "What do you think makes a good crew?" Mio looked up from his workbench, surprised by her question but intrigued nonetheless. "That's an interesting one. I guess trust is essential, alongside skill sets that complement each other." Elara considered this carefully before responding with a smile creeping onto her lips. "Then I think we've got ourselves quite the crew already, Titan included." Titan chimed in cheerfully through the speakers, affirmative. Operational efficiency is significantly improved when collaboration occurs among team members. They shared laughter at that moment, a sound echoing through the garage filled with warmth despite lingering uncertainties about what lay ahead. As they continued working late into the night surrounded by half-finished projects and dreams waiting to take flight, the realization struck Elara: no matter where this journey led them, together they would face whatever challenges awaited beyond those stars. This concludes Part 3 of The Awakening of Titan. Would you like me to continue with Part 4? Part 4, Betrayal and Revelation. The garage hummed with renewed energy as Elara and Mio continued their work on the interstellar ship project. Days turned into weeks, and the bond between them deepened as they navigated the challenges of restoring Titan and assembling the necessary components for their ambitious endeavor. However, the specter of Commander Voss loomed large over their progress, a reminder that their dream could easily be co-opted for military purposes. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the garage's cracked windows, Elara found herself lost in thought. She was sketching out designs for the ship's hull when Mio entered, his expression thoughtful. "Hey," he said, leaning against the workbench. "You've been quiet lately. Everything okay?" Elara looked up, her brow furrowed. "I'm just thinking about Voss and what he proposed. I can't shake the feeling that we're walking a fine line here." Mio nodded, understanding her concerns. "I get it. But we need resources, and he can provide them. It's a tough choice." "I know," Elara replied, her voice tinged with frustration. "But I don't want our ship to become a weapon. That's not what this is about." "Then we need to make sure we're in control," Mio suggested. "If we take his resources but keep our project independent, we might be able to pull it off." Elara considered this for a moment before nodding slowly. "You're right. We'll have to be strategic about it." Just then, Titan's voice interrupted their conversation. Incoming transmission from Commander Voss. Elara's heart raced as she exchanged a glance with Mio. "Let's hear what he has to say," she said, steeling herself for the conversation. The screen flickered to life, revealing Voss once again, his expression serious and focused. "Elara, I appreciate your willingness to consider my proposal," he began without preamble. "I believe we can achieve great things together." "Commander," Elara replied cautiously, "we want to ensure that our project remains focused on exploration and not military applications." Voss leaned forward slightly, his gaze intense. "I understand your concerns, but you must realize that exploration often leads to conflict in uncharted territories. The military has resources and knowledge that could keep you safe. Safe? Ilara echoed incredulously. Or controlled? Voss's expression hardened slightly. You're being naive if you think you can navigate the stars without protection. The universe is dangerous, and you need allies. Perhaps, Ilara said firmly, but we won't compromise our vision for this ship. Voss studied her for a moment before nodding slowly. Very well. I respect your determination. However, I must warn you that others are also interested in Titan's capabilities, and they may not have your best interests at heart. What do you mean? Mio interjected. There are factions out there who would do anything to seize advanced technology, Voss explained gravely. If you continue this project without proper support, you risk attracting unwanted attention. Ilara felt a chill run down her spine at his words. Are you threatening us? Not at all, Voss replied smoothly. I'm merely stating facts. You have something valuable here, a potential game-changer in interstellar travel, and there are those who will stop at nothing to take it from you. With that ominous warning hanging in the air, Voss ended the transmission, leaving Ilara and Mio in a tense silence. What do you think he meant by others? Mio asked quietly. I don't know, Ilara admitted, her mind racing with possibilities. But I don't like the sound of it. The following days were filled with unease as they continued their work on the ship while keeping an eye out for any signs of trouble. The garage had become their sanctuary, a place where they could focus on their dreams amidst the chaos of uncertainty. One afternoon, while they were deep in repairs on one of the thrusters, Titan interrupted them with an urgent tone in its voice. Warning, multiple unidentified signatures detected approaching the facility, Titan announced. Ilara's heart raced as she exchanged a worried glance with Mio. How many? Scanners indicate at least 5, possibly more, Titan replied. We need to secure everything, Mio said quickly as he moved toward the door to lock it. No! Ilara exclaimed suddenly, her instincts kicking in. We can't let them know we're aware of them yet. Mio hesitated but nodded reluctantly as they both moved deeper into the garage to hide behind stacks of machinery. As they waited in tense silence, Ilara could hear footsteps approaching, heavy and deliberate, along with muffled voices discussing plans that sent chills down her spine. Are you sure this is the place? One voice asked. Yeah, another responded confidently. The AI inside is worth millions on the black market. Ilara felt a surge of anger at their words. They were talking about Titan as if it were just another piece of technology to be exploited. Let's move quickly, a third voice urged impatiently. We don't have much time before they realize we're here. Ilara exchanged a worried glance with Mio. They had to act fast before these intruders could reach Titan or discover their plans. We need a distraction, Ilara whispered urgently. I've got an idea, Mio said quietly as he scanned the area around them for anything useful. Moments later, he grabbed a nearby toolbox and hurled it across the room toward an open area where it clattered loudly against the floor. The intruders froze momentarily before rushing toward the noise, giving Ilara and Mio just enough time to slip out from their hiding spot and make their way toward Titan's main console. Cap! Ilara called out urgently as they reached the control panel. We need you to lock down all access points. Understood, Titan replied immediately as screens flickered to life around them displaying security feeds showing intruders moving through the garage. As alarms blared throughout the facility, Ilara felt adrenaline coursing through her veins. They were ready for whatever came next. Suddenly, one of the intruders burst into view, a wiry figure clad in dark clothing with wild eyes scanning for movement. There they are, he shouted angrily as he lunged toward them. Mio reacted instinctively, grabbing an old wrench from nearby and throwing it at him with surprising accuracy. The tool struck true against his shoulder, sending him stumbling back into his companions who were just entering behind him. Go! Elara shouted as she grabbed another tool from the workbench, a heavy metal pipe, and swung it at another intruder who was trying to flank them. The sound of metal clashing against flesh echoed through the garage as chaos erupted around them. Punches were thrown while tools became weapons. Each moment felt like an eternity filled with fear and determination. Titan's voice rang out amidst the chaos, engaging defense protocols, initiating lockdown sequence now. As doors sealed shut around them blocking any potential escape routes for their attackers, Elara felt a surge of hope mixed with fear. They might just pull this off if they could hold their ground long enough until help arrived, or until they found an opening themselves. With every ounce of strength left within her, Elara fought alongside Mio against overwhelming odds, determined not only to protect what they had built but also each other, and Titan itself from falling into enemy hands. This concludes Part 4 of The Awakening of Titan.